Dr. Ben Carson delivers a very important warning to Tucker Carlson about Kamala Harris and the potential threat she may pose. Guys, this is going to be a good video. I know you're going to like it. We've got two great intellectuals here, Tucker Carlson, who we all know who and love, and Dr. Ben Carson, who is quite possibly one of the greatest brain surgeons of all time, in addition to being a man who upholds conservative values. It's going to be a good one, and I think you're going to like it. So we're going to get right into the video, guys, but first, please do me a favor and like our video, share it around, and yes, if you are new, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you guys these great clips. As always, guys, this is Resist the Mainstream, and I'm your host, Arian. Let's get into it.
What do you think of Kamala Harris?
I think she is a politician.
Yeah.
And she's interested in the accumulation of power and control.
Do you think she believes in anything?
I think she believes in government, like most Marxists.
Yes.
I think she is a Marxist.
Do you think that she can win?
Absolutely. She can win. This is going to be a great test of the power of the media to take someone who formerly was universally disliked and transform them into a godlike figure. And they will use everything that they have to try to do that. The question is, are the American people smart enough to see through it?
Sure hope so.
And I actually think the American people are smarter than anybody gives them credit for. And I don't think that they are going to be willing to sacrifice what we have in this country, which is what everybody else wants, even though they try to denigrate our country, say we're systemically racist, we're unfair to people. If we were all that bad, why are all these people trying to get in here? And why aren't people trying to get out of here? So we know that we have something that's very good. And I think the American people realize that, and they're not willing to give that up and trade that for.
It's so true. You always hear this ridiculous narrative about, oh, America, the United States, such a racist, terrible country, especially some of these snide Europeans. I've noticed a lot of them love to say that. Why is it, if we're such a racist country, I know this is a dumb point in a way, but why do we take more immigrants than any other country in the world? I mean, it's true. Is that really what a country full of racists who hate people of other nationalities do? Obviously not. Okay? Whether you agree with that level of immigration or not, it's still a very obvious point.
Or something inferior.
Were you surprised? It's interesting that you said the media are the key for Kamala Harris. Were you surprised how quickly the media pivoted from basically forcing Joe Biden out of his job to adoring and worshiping Kamala Harris?
While it may be true that Biden is off our hands now, or at least will be very soon, whether it ends up being Kamala or Trump, one thing that is not true is that we unfortunately, at least for now, do not have an escape of Biden's horrendous economy. Guys, this inflation is out of control, and I am so sick of it, and I'm sure you are too. That is why I have decided to partner with Goldco. Why do this, guys? Real simple. As the value of the dollar has historically declined, the value of gold has gone up, all right? In other words, it's a great hedge against inflation in the opinions of many people, including me. So if you're interested to learn more, guys, you can also invest. Check it out. Go to rtmgold.com. Type in your web browser or click the link in the description. Once again, guys, that's rtmgold.com. You can roll over your IRA and 401k, penalty and tax free. All right, so check it out. Get your free gold kit too. Yes, free. rtmgold.com.
No, that didn't surprise me at all. Because I've been watching the media for a number of years, and I see how they're like a flock of birds. Have you ever noticed a large flock of birds, and they all turn at the same time, and they all go, and you say, how in the world are they doing that? They almost have this cohesive communication, and they work together. I accused one of the media of that about a week ago, and they said, how can you say that about us? Then I started talking about how they use the same language within minutes of the time that something comes out. Is it just a coincidence that they use the same language and the same phrases? They had to admit that there probably was some degree of cooperative work going on there.
The media is quite literally reprogramming the NPC's brains, that's a non-playable character, NPC, to love Kamala Harris in real time. Guys, it is terrifying. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we had this stupid trend about Kamala Harris being a brat or something because, you know, we're such a low IQ and stupid nation now. I hate to say that, okay? I love the United States. It's the best country ever. Don't get me wrong here. But we've become such a dumb country that talking about Kamala Harris being a brat is a conversation to be had, apparently. You had, I mean, you know, one of the stupid, I think the musician of that brat band or whatever it's called, you can tell I'm not invested in this stuff because I barely know about it, but the musician of that band made a post on Twitter, Kamala is brat. I'm pretty sure I'm quoting that right. Do these people think they're profound? It's just so dumb and low IQ. As for Dr. Ben Carson's point about the media parroting what each other say and, as you mentioned, working in tandem purposefully at times, it's so obviously true. You guys ever seen this clip?
Hearing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Back to Ben Carson and Tucker Carlson.
Do you think that there's coordination or it's a conspiracy of shared instinct? They all have the same worldview?
Both. I think both of those things are going on. But there's no question that they have lost their original intent. The media, the press, is the only business that's protected by the Constitution. And there was a reason for that. It's because they were supposed to disseminate unbiased information to the people so that the people could determine what their will was, because the country was supposed to be run on the will of the people. Now, you know, the Europeans thought we were crazy. They said, you can't have a nation that's run on the will of the people. You have to have a monarch. You have to have a ruling body. But we have demonstrated for a very long time that we can run on the will of the people, but that is being distorted significantly because the press has, instead of deciding to disseminate unbiased information, they have decided to put their thumb on the scale and to push a certain agenda, which when you think about it, makes little sense because the agenda that they're pushing is more of a socialist, Marxist agenda. Well, what do socialists and Marxists do when they get in power? They control the media. It's almost the first thing that they do.
Yes.
So they're digging their own grave.
It's a great point about America not being ruled by a monarchy. In fact, if you actually look at the history, the United States of America is pretty much the first country in world history to not be ruled by some kind of dictatorship. I'm not even kidding. What other country can you think about from 1786 that did such a thing? When you look at George Washington, what a noble and amazing man he was. People basically wanted to make him the king of the United States. And he said, no, I'm going to do my presidential term and then I'm done. And then he stepped down and gave up his power. That's a remarkable thing, and we should be proud as Americans for that. And I mean it. As for this idea that the media used to be unbiased or originally was, which, and I'm not saying Ben Carson was even saying that because maybe he's not, but I've heard that kind of mantra being repeated a lot. I don't think it was ever true. Walter Cronkite, for instance, is often heralded and celebrated as, oh, that was back in the day, when the good old days, when the media was totally unbiased and cared about the truth and nothing else. They didn't have an agenda. Yeah, no. Walter Cronkite was liberal, and he said as much himself. In fact, he even said that being liberal essentially means that you don't have a political preference at all and that you just look at the facts and analyze things as well and objective as possible. He has numerous quotes about that. You can look into it. And he said, for that reason, I am a liberal. Right. Yeah, no political bias whatsoever. Point being, there is always going to be political bias, and often a very ugly form of it, which we see with our modern mainstream media and arguably the mainstream media of the past as well.
How responsible do you think media coverage is for Trump getting shot?
There's no question that they poisoned the atmosphere by saying, you know, he's like Hitler and he's going to destroy democracy and is sort of Satan incarnate. You know, when you have people who perhaps are not fully capable of controlling themselves, they can easily be influenced by that kind of activity. And it's just wrong. Now, I would quickly hasten that it's done on all sides in the political arena. You know, spending time demonizing other people because somehow they think that that helps, and it does help for some people.
Okay, sorry. So I was with Ben Carson in the first half, but he lost me right after that. Both sides? I mean, yes, of course it's very true that left and right both have people who are demonizing the other side constantly. I get it. Obviously that's true, but it's not the full picture. I mean, just look at the Hitler example that Carson was just discussing himself. When do people on the right say that Biden's Hitler or suggest he needs to be killed or anything like that? They don't, okay? Not in any kind of common shape or form. And people on the right at large will disavow it. But on the left, people are threatening to kill Trump all the time, or at least making implications towards it. Remember what Snoop Dogg did with his video where he kills Donald Trump? Or what about when Johnny Depp joked about having Trump assassinated? You can go on and on. You have nothing like that for Biden. That's even close.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we could actually discuss the issues?
Yes.
What are the policies that actually impact people's lives? If we could spend nearly as much time on that as we do talking about each other and denigrating each other, I think we could make some real progress. And I think we might actually find that there's more agreement than you think there is. I'd say 80% of issues your most radical left-wing and right-wing people would probably agree on. But we take that 10 to 20% and we magnify it and we make it the biggest issue to the point that people hate each other.
What do you think would happen if Kamala Harris got elected president?
I think we would continue to move in a very leftist direction. I mean, she was the most radical left-wing member of the Senate. She was even to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was a co-sponsor of the Green New Energy deal. You know, she wants Medicaid for everybody, mandatory, no private insurance. As the DA, she was the one who basically didn't want to punish people who were guilty of horrendous crimes and repeat offenders. And she wanted open borders. And all the things that we see happening, you can put those on steroids if she becomes the president. And I hope people will go back and look at her record. Don't just listen to pleasant words that will be interspersed with ridiculous laughter, but go back and actually look at what she did and what she has said. And I think people will remember why she got no traction at all when she was running for president.
Kamala Harris is so far left, in fact, that she infamously promoted a bail fund for the rioters during the Summer of Love of Black Lives Matter. I feel like you could argue that's treason, but I don't know. Who am I to say such a thing? Anyways, guys, we really hope you enjoyed the video. As always, be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked, what kind of content you want to see next, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks a lot, and God bless.